Hi friends, in last session we had a discussion related to the static data members and the static member functions. Now if you have a static data in a class as well as static member functions or methods in a class. Now static data means all objects will be studied that all objects will share a common copy of it. Means as we discussed that static means it holds its updated values in the next new occurrences. It holds its updated values in the next new occurrences. Now in case of object oriented programming, to hold the updated values means obviously if a object update the value of static data member, then B will get the updated copy pass on. Means all objects will share a common copy. In real terms, we can say that the properties which belongs to class not belongs to the object. As object is a instance of a class, it can update the copy of static data member, but actually it's common in all. Right? Static means just like let us say like man and woman, these are the objects of human class. So the properties which are common in all, right? We all look like a man, we all look means like the objects of woman look like woman. So everybody have two eyes, one nose. They can see it, they can smell it, they can think it on. So the common properties and behaviors are static, and the non-static means every individual have their own copy. Every individual have their own name, own religion, own looks and all. They means like we look differently. That is non-static, and we have that common properties in all, and that is called a static one. So this is examples I am giving to understand the difference between the static and non-static data. This is very crucial and then very important topic to understand the static data and the static methods or static functions belongs to the class owner. So all objects will share a common copy. Today my agenda is to explain you programmatically, right, how and when we can declare the static data, and how we can able to and in which situations we can use static data and static member functions, and how to give a call to them, right? So my examples are related to the C++, right? Again, I'm saying okay, I'm using a language today to explain you about the static data and static member functions referenced into C++, but you can use this functionality by changing the syntaxes in all the languages over there, right? So like let us go for the example. Let us understand one thing where we have to use because while writing the class, as we come to know that in the object-oriented programming we have to start the development of a class firstly. So while writing the class, which data I should keep it in the static and which data I should declare as a non-static, that is the main question, right? So for that reason I had given you I'm going to discuss with you the two examples today about the static. Let's say we have if you are developing a bank class, right? Now in the bank class, obviously if there is a bank means there is a account number, there is a account holder name, and because everyone will go to the bank and open the account over there to save their deposits over there. So if you go to the bank, every depositors having their own respective account number, their account holder's name, and the amount balance. So let us understand that okay, there are three depositors who having the bank account over there, and they are having their own distinguished account details and the opening balance. Now whenever every user make a transactions over there, because if a user deposits 1000 rupees, so his account will be updated by 1000 rupees, but at the same time total bank's account also get updated by the 1000 rupees. So total bank account means the account, the amount, bank balance, individual's bank balance is different and bank's total balance is different. So bank's total balance also will be able to, let us say 3 depositors are there, they having their own respective bank accounts and they are managing their accounts over there. But whenever they withdraw and deposit into the bank, obviously the common in all bank account also getting updated over there. So common in all means like bank balance, right? That can be, that property we need to define as a static, and at the same time to access the static data member we need to go with the static member functions. So while defining static data, you have to add a keyword called as static. Okay, long integer, maybe total balance, sort of. Whenever you declare the static data, then end of the class definitions you have to initialize it by 0, and then like this. Okay, if you have a inside class, if you declare a static data member, as you know that static data member get initialized to 0 by default, and in the object-oriented programming we are not supposed to initialize, initialization of data is not allowed over there. So to tell the compiler that I'm in my bank class static long integer bank scope resolution total equals to 0, sort of. Okay, so in this manner you have to, at the end means outside the class definitions, you have to initialize the static member as well, to tell the compiler that I am going to I'm having a static data. Static means not object oriented, not actually belongs to object, any object, individual object. It's belong to the class over there. We'll come to know about everything details when we discuss the example. And to access this static data member, you can have a static member functions as well, right? Maybe void get bank balance, sort of. And then here you have to, in the static member functions, you can process static members as well. And while giving call to the static member functions, you have to give a call like this. Just the member functions, non-static member functions, we are giving called by the object dot functions. But if you have a static member functions, it has to refer by the class name. So bank scope resolutions, and then you have to specify the name of the member function. So in this manner we can call to static function. Okay, let's, like, this is the elementary thing what I discussed. Whenever if you have a class, and if you want to define the individual copy means the copy which belongs to the properties which belongs to object. There are individual copies and the copy which belongs to common copy shared among all the objects. Just like the example I had given, if you have a bank class, so account number, account details, and the bank balance, opening balance, this is the individual copy of any individual object. But whenever every depositor perform the transactions, obviously the bank balance is going to update. So bank balance, this property must be the static one, and to access the static data member or to check the what the total balance will be, you have to define the static member functions, right? So let us discuss by example now. Here it is. I develop a code called as bank balance, or like a class called as bank. So I'm including over here iostream.h, iomanip.h, conio, and string. Now string means, okay, I'm iostream.h, I'm adding for CNC out, iomanip for that NDL, and input output manipulators, setting the width and all, conio for clear skin, and string h means like if I having a string type of data, that depositor's name and all. So for that reasons I'm using string.h as well, right? So I'm having a class bank, I'm having a private data. I just discussed that, okay, depositors will deposit their amount, their open their account in the bank. So they have the private data like account number, account name, and the amount balance. Now this private data is actually belongs to the object, means every object whenever they will open their bank account, they have the individual account number, they have the individual name and the amount balance to it. And this static long integer bank balance, bbal is a variable static, because obviously this is not belong to any individual. Whenever every depositors deposit something, so it is going to update their account, but at the same time, as I said, the bank's accounts also going to getting updated. So for that reason, I'm having a bbal is a static data member. Then I define in the public, I define the constructor, default constructor, okay, and then I'm having the parameterized constructor. So whenever the depositor like open their account in the bank, so account number, their name, and the amount, opening balance amount, I'm getting as a parameter to the constructor, and by that I'm initializing the private data belongs to class, that is account number and account name and amount balance. But once the object will be created, once the depositor will be created, that amount opening balance, what he is or she is going to deposit, it has to update with the bank balance, right? So because if there are the three depositors opens their account over there, obviously their individual account having the opening balance, but their amount will be added to the bank balance as well. So bank bbal is a static variable going to update by the amount as well, and this amount balance is going to assign to the amount over there. It means like their opening balance is individual, but whenever they make it a account open, it will be added to the bank balance also. Then the display balance function. Now this display balance function is going to display the details of individual accounts, right? So account number, name, and the amount balance will be displayed, that individual things are there. Now if obviously if there is a banking class, so there is a method belongs to means like in the bank we can check the bank balance, at the same time we can deposit the amount. So there is a amount will get as a parameter, right? So deposit is a method which is getting the parameter as a deposit amount, and the deposit amount will be adding to the, if you deposit something, so it will add to your amount balance, and then at the same time it is going to update the bank balance as well. So there is a withdraw amount, there is a withdraw method. So deposit method is going to deposit the amount. Display balance method is this is non-static methods I am discussing about. So display balance will display the balance or detail of the particular individual user. Deposit will go to deposit the amount, and withdraw will obviously whatever the amount you are saying, you are passing as an argument, it will if that withdraw amount which you want to withdraw is less than the amount balance, obviously you can withdraw the amount over there. So amount balance minus whatever the account balance we are having, minus the amount balance, and at the same time it has to update the bank balance as well. But the amount which you want to withdraw is more than the account balance, obviously then it will say that insufficient balance. Hope you understand the definition of withdraw, because I'm trying to define a class called as bank. By giving the example of a bank, you will come to know that okay, there is a individual properties also. Individual properties means every individual having their account number, name, and the opening balance, and they can perform their deposit, withdraw, and check the balance over there. But these all transactions are going to affect to the bank account as well, right? So here static will be the like common in all, means like if the bank's account bank balance is going to update, that is the static, and individual account is going to update, that is the non-static over there. Hope you got me. So now to display the bank balance, now up till now this all display balance, deposit, and withdraw, these all methods are actually belongs to the object. And then to display the bank balance, right? So we have a display bank balance. Now just here we will find one thing, that these all the non-static methods can process the process with the static data as well as non-static as well, right? What I'm saying, non-static methods, object-oriented methods are actually processing the non-static data as well as static data as well. But here in this case, whenever you are displaying a static function, now just understand one thing, that static functions can only process, because these static functions, static member functions are going to call by the class name. There is no object references there. So and that static data is not belong to any individual object, it is belong to class. So in a static member functions, while defining static member functions, you cannot process with the non-static data, you have to define only the static. static data. You can process with the static data only. So this display bank balance functions, okay, obviously it is going to display the bank balance, and then it is going to going to process the static functions over there. So hope you understand the definition of a class bank called as bank class. Have a private properties, account number, account name, amount balance, and static bank balance. Now static bank balance means is to cumulate the total of all the depositors amounts, withdrawing and deposit amounts over there. That we have a static data that is called the bank balance, and then we have a parameterized constructor which is going to create the individual object. At the same time, whenever individual object will go to perform any whenever, whether it is a account opening or whether it is a withdrawal or deposit, is going to affect their own respective amount. At the same time, it is going to update the account of bank as well. So the static data what we are having, that is the bank balance, and then we have a static member functions that is called the display bank balance over there, right? Now, as I just discussed, that if you have a static data belongs to class, we have to initialize. Because by default, static data is going to get initialized by 0, and in class definitions, initialization is not allowed, right? By default, it is get initialization, and in case of OOP, initialization is not allowed inside class. So to avoid that confusion, right, compiler may be having over there. So we have to compiler will raise that you have a static data and it is going to default by default going to initialize by 0. That's why outside the class definitions you have to initialize the static data member by any like so long integer bank in the bank class having a scope of this bbal static data, and initialize to the as it is a long int, I'm writing a 0l, right? So in this manner I'll initialize to 0. Then I go to the main over there. So what I'm going to do firstly, okay, bank object, I'll create the first object object 1 bank, account number is 100, name is Supriya. Supriya is going to create the open the account over there. So 100, name of the account holder is Supriya, and she deposited 5,000 rupees. That is the opening balance. So object 1 is going to create it gives a call to the to this parameterized constructor, and the account number, the name of the account, and the amount will be passed on. So in this manner, the object 1 is generated over there by the name of Supriya and having the account number 100 and 5,000 rupees, and at the same time bank balance also go to update over there. So now the second object 101 account number, the name of the account holder is Gayatri and she deposited 10,000 rupees. And the third object in this manner I will create 102 and the Sushil, and he deposited his opening balance is 8,000 rupees. So obviously the Supriya having the account opening that is 5,000, Gayatri having 10,000, and Sushil having 8,000. But what about the bank balance? Now bank balance means addition of all these things, 5,000, 10,000, 15 plus 20, means like bank balance. If you refer to the display bank balance, it has to be referred as a 23,000, and if you refer to the display display method, display balance, individual balance will be the 5,000, 10,000 and 8,000 respectively, but the total bank balance will be the 23,000. So details of Supriya account. So object 1 which belongs to Supriya, if you give a call to the display balance, so obviously it will display the data 100 Supriya and 5,000. Whenever like details of Gayatri account, object 2 dot display balance, it will say 101 Gayatri and 10,000. And whenever you say details of Sushil account, object 3 is belongs to Sushil, and display balance will be displayed 102 Sushil and 8,000. But now total bank balance, how it is going to update. So bank we are giving a call to the display bank balance over there, and here it has to be print the 23,000, which is cumulation of this Supriya, Gayatri and Sushil account over there. Hope you understand it. Now let us do the transactions with the bank. Okay, Supriya enter the amount to deposit. If object 1 want to deposit some amount over there, so he will she will accept the amount from the she will enter the amount, and that object 1 is going to deposit certain amount over there. So let us understand Supriya initially opening balance is 5,000. If she deposit 3,000, so obviously her account is going to update by update to 8,000, but at the same time 23 plus 3, that is 6, the total bank balance will be also become 26,000. After that, if you say after deposit, if you add it, then obviously that display will be there, and then if you show the bank balance, so obviously Supriya's account will be 8,000 and total bank balance will be the 26,000. Then Sushil is going to enter the amount to deposit, and he is also depositing certain amounts over there. So whenever you display, let's say Sushil is depositing 2,000 rupees. So his earlier balance was, or opening balance was 8,000 rupees. Now he's going to deposit 2,000, so it become a 10,000 over there. So but after adding Sushil's accounts over there, the total bank balance will be 26 plus 2, that is 28. Now if Gayatri is going to withdraw some amount over there, earlier her balance was 10,000 rupees, and she is withdrawing 3,000 rupees. So obviously her account will be deducted by the 3,000, and it will show the 7,000 as a balance over there. But 26 plus 28,000 was the bank balance over there. If Gayatri is going to reduce 3,000, so obviously it become a 23,000 again, sort of. Okay, so this is the way in this particular, if you run this particular code, you'll understand that non-static means like the individual, there are 3 accounts we generated, 3 objects we created, that is the Supriya, Gayatri and Sushil. So they can withdraw and deposit their own individual accounts. At the same time, whenever they perform any transactions, okay, the static data belongs to class is also going to operate, because here which data should I declare as a static and which data should I keep it as a non-static, that is the main thing over there. So non-static means if every individual like account having their account number and the name of the account and the opening balance, that is non-static. But whenever it count like, okay, the bank balance, okay, that has to be the static. And then to access that static data belong to the class, we have to go with a method called as static method called as display bank balance over there, right? So let us run this code and check out the result of it. Here is bank balance code I am checking, and then yeah, here details of Supriya account number is 100 Supriya and belong to Supriya, and 5,000 rupees is opening balance, and the same with the Gayatri 101 and 10,000, and then we have a Sushil with the 8,000 over there. Now total bank balance is 23,000, 5,000 plus 10,000 plus 8,000. Now Supriya enter amount to deposit if she is depositing 2,000 rupees. Right, so details of the Supriya account will be updated with 2,000, 100 Supriya and 7,000, and the total bank balance will be the 25,000. 23,000 was the earlier balance, okay, and then the 25,000. Now Sushil enter the amount to deposit if he is entering 3,000 rupees to deposit. The details of Sushil account will be account number 102 Sushil, and 11,000 earlier balance was 8,000, and the bank balance also going to update by the from 25,000 to 3,000, that is the 28,000 over there. Now Gayatri enter the amount to withdraw if you want to withdraw the 4,000 rupees, right? So her earlier opening balance was 10,000, and when she withdraw the 4,000, so her account will be update to the 6,000 over there, and the total bank balance will be updated by the 24,000 over there. So the total bank balance means, okay, the accumulation of these all the Supriya, Sushil and Gayatri accounts, and the individual accounts means non-static data, and common in all means the static type of data. Hope you understand these things clearly. Okay. So now this is about the bank balance or bank class. Okay, by giving the reference of it, and explain you what is the static and what is the non-static in the bank class over there. Let's go for the another class called as item bill. Now here in this case, what I'm trying to do, okay, again, like whenever you go to the market and buy a product, okay, then every individual product having its own unit price, and then you buy a quantity. So price into quantity equal to the price of that individual item, and on that individual item there is certain discount over there. Some product maybe don't have discount, some product maybe have certain discount. Let us understand, okay, we are getting the 5% discount on the every product, so which you buy over there. So I am having a unit price, means like while going to the bank, sorry, not the bank, while purchasing the items, I am picking any individual items and with a quantity. So unit price means price for one into quantity, that become the price of the item. Then I will evaluate my software has to be evaluate the discount on it. Okay, and then in this manner the net price of that particular item will be generated. In this manner I can buy the n number of items. So means this question is related to the array of objects. If you go to the Shopee and buy n number of items, okay, it's an array of object column is there, but at the same time, okay, you have a class called as item bill. So what is the individual property of it? That is the every item have a price, unit price and quantity. Then you have to, for every item you have to calculate the price, discount and net price. But this is the one particular like this is the record of one item. In this manner, if you purchase n number of items, then it become again there is a rule of a static, because you have to calculate the total bill of all the items over there. So every individual object belong to every individual item, and then the accumulation of it is a total bill of it. You understand the things over there? So whenever you go to the purchase the things, okay, this is item name, this is unit price and quantity. When you like, okay, obviously the price of that items will be calculated with the discount and all, and after that when you accumulate it in this manner, if you buy 10 items, right, or any number of items, then that accumulation of all individual means there is a individual property which is belong to the individual object, their unit price, quantity, price, discount, net price, and the total bill. Here in this case, whenever you buy any item name, unit price, quantity is the property, and then price, discount, net price we are calculating of that every individual object, and then after that net price will be accumulated in the total bill. So that like total bill you have to pay to the that list of the items which you purchase. So what will be the static data? That is the total bill, and what is the individual property? The every individual item name and all this all unit price and all, right? So item bill class having the default constructor and the parameterized constructor. Whenever you buy an items over there, the name of the item and unit price and quantity and price you have to unit price and quantity you have to pass on, right? How many numbers of items you purchase. So in this manner your item name, unit price and quantity will be initialized for individual object, right? And there is a compute method which will compute the price, discount and net price of each and every individual item, right? And after that net price for that individual item will be added to the total bill. Are you getting it? It's like if you buy a pen and pen having a 25 rupees as unit price and 4 you buy, so 25 into 4 into 100, so on 100 5 rupees you will get discount. So like your net price will be the 95 rupees, and that 95 rupees will be added into total bill. In this manner, now the second item is a book. You may buy 250 rupees as a price for a book, and you buy 2, so it's a 500 rupees. Then again 5% of the 500 rupees, and then that will be the individual items over there, and then that 100 rupees for the pen plus that like after reduced discount, whatever the net price will be generated, that will be added over there. In this manner means like individual objects price also need to be calculated at the same time. After generating that net price, it has to be added to the total bill as well. So this compute method will computing the price, discount and net price of individual items, and then that net price will be added to total bill. Now this display is going to display the details of, okay, here I am using cout.precision2 because like, okay, I'm got 2 decimals over there. Set width will having a space between them, and then in this manner I'm printing that all the item name, unit price, quantity, set the and then price, discount, net price for each and every individual object over there. So every object will have a unit price and quantity, and after that the object will be generated, and then that bill will be generated for each items, and then accumulation of that net price will be the total purchase. Okay, so then we have a display bill. Now display bill is a static method, right? As you have to display the total the bill you have to pay for that complete purchase, that total bill over there. So total bill is a static data, right? Static data, which is total bill of the entire purchase, and then each and every individual objects what you are purchasing, that is the individual objects over there. So here, as I just recently explained that, okay, if you have a static data, you have to initialize to 0, And then here item bill item, let us understand you're going to buy a 10 items over there, so you make an array of 10. So here you set a loop over there and enter details of purchase. Okay, so enter item name, unit price and quantity. You enter the item name, unit price and quantity. Item name is string type, but it unit price and quantity. And then you create the object. Then you create the object, means like first item you buy, that is pen. Second item you buy, that is the books. Third item you buy, maybe the any other items over there. So in this manner, let us understand you are going to buy a 10 items over there. So you accept the data, pass on to the constructor. In this manner, you 10 different objects you are creating, and then we are computing the price, discount, and net price for each and every individual items. And then that computed price is also going to accumulate into the total bill over there. And then whatever the purchase you did, you're going to print it. So on by the title, serial number, and all, you are printing that all the bill sort of. Okay, the total particulars of serial number 1, the item you buy. Okay, the unit price, the quantity, the discount, and net price. And then after display method is a non-static method. It is going to display the entire details of individual objects over there. And after that, you are displaying a total bill. Total bill means the accumulation of all items, the purchase of all the items, that cumulative bill. Here the total bill is a static data, and you are going to display the display bill is a static member function. So whenever you are referring to it is going to display the details, the entire total purchase of that items over there. Let us go for the execution of this. Okay, here I saved it by the item bill, and if you run this code, yeah, here it is like enter the details of item bill. Let's say if I buy a pen with a 25 rupees and 4 pen I bought. So this is the when. Then second is book, maybe having 125 2, and now you can enter any rapid data. AAA maybe 253, BBB 121, CCC 202, DDD. Any items I'm entering over there. 354, EEE 923, FFF 402, GGG 501, HHH. In this manner, I'm like all the 10 items which I'm purchasing, I'm going to enter the data, and then the price 45.7 sort of, and that's it. And then after entering that all the entries, okay, if you go to the now look at this, that this is the particulars of all the items. Serial number 1, item name is so and so, pen, unit price, quantity, the price, discount, net price, and each and every items. And after displaying that all the particulars, I have to pay total bill computed as 4,529. So now this 4,529 is the addition of 95 plus 238 plus 713 plus 114 is the net price of all individual items over there, right? So this is the way how you this like these examples, whether it's a bank example or the item bill examples, is an example of in a class there is two types of properties, non-static. And non-static means it belongs to the object, and static means belongs to the class. Or rather, whenever we are saying all objects will share the common copy. In case of bank example, all objects, right, whether it's a Supriya, Sushil, or Gayatri objects, all objects having a common copy, that is static, and all having their own respective account, that is non-static. In case of item bill over there, whenever you are purchasing a single item, right, that is having its item name, unit price, quantity, and then the price, discount, net price, that is the bill for that one items. But whenever you have accumulations, array of set of items over there, so I'm having a set over there, and then I enter all the data, then that accumulation of a net bill net of that total of bill of all the items equal, again it's a static data and static member function. So this particular session is actually dedicated to the to the demonstration of whenever you are writing a class may have a collection of static and non-static, but there are two types of methods and two types of properties: static properties, non-static properties, static methods, non-static methods. Which method we have to define as a non-static, which data we have to define as a non-static, and which data we have to define as a, which method we have to define as a non-static and static. That is the question. So static means common in all. If you want to refer by the class name, then static, and if you have individual, that is the non-static over there. So this is by example I am trying to explain you that, okay, if you think that, okay, now this is the accumulation of all, or all objects, whatever the number of objects in a class are going to share the common copy, then certainly it has to be the static type. And if there is an individual one, every object having their own respective individual copy, then it has to be the non-static. Hope that everything about the static and non-static is clear to you, right? So you go through that entire course explained by me to you about the static and non-static, and understand the things about the difference between the static data, static member functions, non-static data, and non-static member function over there. Thank you.